My name is Marinez Dadgar. I'm the Vice President of this year's Grand Rapids Mayor's Youth Council, and I'm a freshman at Grand Rapids Union High School. And welcome to KidSpeak 2023, S.A.F.E, Scholars Achieving Fearless Endeavors. I would also like to introduce Sophia Ferenzi, who is a junior at Grand Rapids Public Museum High School, who will also be speaking during today's program. We are eager to facilitate our annual KidSpeak event this year and feel that our topics of safety in the classroom, schools, and community are at the forefront of issues affecting youth in our city today. And thank you all for being here.
Hello. My name is Sophia Ferenzi. I'm this year's KidSpeak Subcommittee Chair and a member of the Grand Rapids Mayor's Youth Council. I'm a junior at Grand Rapids Public Museum High School. Marinez and I will be your MCs today. Today's proceedings are also being streamed live on the city's Facebook page and YouTube channel. We want to give a special shout out to those who are joining us online and to Travis and Serena at the city's Cable Television Administration for working behind the scenes to ensure the most optimal visual presentation.
Hello everybody, my name is Terrence Koch and I serve as the Secretary of the Mayor's Youth Council, and I'm also a senior at Innovation Central High School. During our time together, you will hear directly from the youth people about a subject that was selected by the Mayor's Youth Council itself. You will hear very candid, revealing, and inspirational testimonies. These testimonies have not been censored by us.
All right, as the chair of this year's KidSpeak Subcommittee, I would like to take a moment to tell you how we arrived on this year's topic. There are many topics that could be addressed within our community, our schools, and ourselves. This year we chose safe communities in and outside of our schools that is more relevant today than it has ever been. The Mayor's Youth Council, as a group, has had open discussions regarding violent altercations in schools, issues related to mental health services for scholars and families, and continued problems stemming from teen tobacco and drug use. Our council has met with Mayor Bliss, our city ward commissioners, and community leaders to discuss these issues, and now it is our opportunity to create a platform to allow all scholars to provide testimonies to today's listening panelists, our engaged guests in the audience, and our peer groups that these matter directly affect. It is no secret that violence in schools, specifically gun violence, has a direct impact on the greater population of students from kindergarten through high school and college. Recent initiatives, such as the common sense gun violence legislation signed by State Governor Whitmer earlier this month, are designed to provide more oversight regarding gun access, while also establishing safe storage requirements to prevent unwanted access to firearms. If it's possible to add extra layers of accountability for firearm purchases, in addition to ensuring firearms are kept out of reach of youth who shouldn't have access to them, it could potentially be a large step in the right direction to keeping our communities and schools safe.
Thank you, Sophia, for commenting on the recent legislation happening in our own state. It's also important to remember the innocent lives that have been lost to violent occurrences in schools and our communities across the country. According to the Gun Violence Archive in Washington, D.C., there have been 164 mass shootings in the United States this year alone, leaving 658 people injured and 225 people killed. Mass shootings have also happened recently in our schools, such as those in Uvalde, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, and closer to home at Michigan State University earlier this year. After the shooting at MSU, the Mayor's Youth Council provided a safe space for members to discuss with Mayor Bliss these recent tragedies, and it was after these meaningful discussions that the Mayor's Youth Council decided we need to address school and community safety for this year's KidSpeak event. The impacts of these shootings can bring about feelings of fear, trauma, suffering, pain, and a lack of connection for youth to their school settings and a community as a whole.
In addition to the statistics Marin has provided, there have been updates to the Grand Rapids Police Department's strategic plan recently that focus on safety, innovation, and engagement. These three key factors could play an essential role in how youth approach sitting down in their classrooms, how they enter and exit the school bus, and even how they walk down the street with friends and family. If our own GRPD is committed to these priorities, this could also help structure how youth feel and express themselves in safe, inclusive spaces.
KidSpeak is an annual forum created by Michigan's children and facilitated throughout Michigan. In Grand Rapids, this forum is facilitated by the Mayor's Youth Council. We are a group of high school teens who live in the city of Grand Rapids, and we attend various schools across the city. The Mayor's Youth Council meets with Mayor Bliss monthly to discuss issues that come before the City Commission and issues of importance to us. We are learning about our community and the role city government plays in our lives so that we are more informed and can be lifelong leaders for when this city is in our hands. The Mayor's Youth Council is managed by Our Community's Children, a public/private partnership between the City of Grand Rapids Public Schools, and community partners.
This year's KidSpeak commemorative t-shirt was designed by a fellow Mayor's Youth Council member, Josiah Willink, who is a junior at City/Middle High School. The t-shirts were screen printed by Triple J's. Sorry. I'm sorry, I hit something. We'll show you the shirts later, I'm sorry. Josiah is here today to discuss how he was inspired to create this year's KidSpeak logo. Please welcome Josiah Willink.
When approaching a design for this year's event, I wanted to focus on simplicity and an easy-to-understand design that was still impactful and got the idea across clearly. Tried out a few iterations of this and ended up on the pencil center design that you see today. This design focuses on the pencil in hand with our acronym S.A.F.E. The pencil kind of shedding light on the message here helps illustrate the connection between education and safety and how intertwined and important they are to students.
Thank you, Josiah, for speaking about your unique and creative design. Now please welcome Mayor Rosalind Bliss. Welcome Mayor Bliss as she says some opening remarks and gives the listening panel introduction instructions.
Thank you. So welcome everyone to this year's KidSpeak. This is one of my favorite events. And we are so grateful to have all of you with us today, not just to hear the important testimony from young people in our community, but really to express your support for them. Our community is a great place and we need to surround them with lots of love and support as they become our future leaders and may be up here sitting one of these days. So I'm glad that you can join us today. I'm Mayor Rosalind Bliss. I have the joy to work with these amazing students as part of my Mayor's Youth Council every single year. I appreciate our team, Shannon and Zach and everyone else who helps make the Mayor's Youth Council such a success every single year. So thank you for your work. Appreciate you. And now I'd like to give our listening panel an opportunity to introduce themselves. I think I'll start this way with our city manager and then end here with Matt. So city manager, you want to start? We'll just go, how about we go around and we'll go in the front row and then come back around to Commissioner Isasi and then end right here.
All right, thank you, Mayor, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm looking forward to hearing the very provocative thoughts and discussions and really appreciate the engagement that you have as future leaders. And so thank you for being here this morning. Mark Washington, City Manager, Grand Rapids.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Brandy Lovelady Mitchell. I'm the Deputy Superintendent for Grand Rapids Public Schools, and I'm excited to elevate the voices of our scholars. So thanks for being here.
Good morning, and thank you for the invite and the privilege to allow us to sit. My name is Larry Johnson. I serve as the Chief of Staff and the Executive Director of Public Safety for the Grand Rapids Public Schools. Again, thank you very much for having us this morning.
Good morning. My name is Kevin Kurgat. I'm representing the Grand Rapids NAACP Youth Council. It's very exciting to see a whole bunch of youth here present today, and if anyone's interested in joining some of our forces and continuing to empower and sort of lift up your voices, you can speak to me afterwards. It's very grateful to be here and to see this opportunity for our mayor and all the rest of the members of the Grand Rapids community to lift up our youth voices, because it's very important for us to feel not only like we're heard and listened to, but also empowered, and our voices are enacting change. So thank you for the invite as well.
My name is Maggie Lancaster. I'm the CEO at the Grand Rapids Children's Museum. It's a pleasure to see all of you here, and it clearly looks like a lot of you grew up playing. You have looking forward to hearing a lot of your ideas and thoughts. Thank you for having me.
Good morning, David Marquardt, Director of Grand Rapids Parks and Recreation. It is an honor and a privilege to be here this morning with each of you. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Connie Bohach. I'm the Senior Managing Director of Community Services for the City of Grand Rapids, and I'm very excited to hear what you all have to say today.
Hi, my name is Kristen Rogers. I'm one of the Deputy Chiefs at the Grand Rapids Police Department, and I want to thank you very much for the invitation, and I too am looking forward to the event. Thank you.
Good morning. Matthew Beresford, Executive Director in Grand Rapids Public Schools, Executive Director of many of your high schools. You may have seen me around walking with your principals, but I'm excited to hear your agency today and then do actions with your principals.
I'm Leon Hendricks, the Executive Director of Communications and External Affairs for the Grand Rapids Public Schools, and excited to hear from you. I hope you all see everyone who's sitting on this panel works for you and is working hard behind the scenes in ways that sometimes you don't know that to meet your needs. So we're excited to hear feedback from you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Melinda Isasi. I am one of the 2nd Ward City Commissioners and also representing Commissioner Lisa Knight, who's traveling. We got to meet with some of you a few weeks ago, and that was a really good and interesting conversation. I just want to say thank you for the topic today. I think elevating how we can reduce gun violence, especially with young people, is something that we need to continue to talk about until we can eradicate this from our community. Thank you.
Take you back to early 2000s. I was in your seat as a member of the Grand Rapids Mayor's Youth Council, as a participant in KidSpeak. I spoke to a few folks on this panel. And so today I am here as a commissioner with the City of Grand Rapids, hailing from the 3rd Ward. So thank you for having me back. Thank you for your leadership in developing young people and making sure that we have pathways to make a difference in our city. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Matt Gillard, the President and CEO of Michigan's Children, a nonprofit child policy advocacy group based out of Lansing, and we're excited to be a part of this event today.
Thank you. And I'm going to add my thanks to Michigan's Children. They do incredible work at the state level and are a strong voice for issues related to children and families. And they're doing the hard work every day for us in Lansing to make sure that those issues and your voices are heard there. So thank you, Matt, for being here, and thank you for your leadership in helping to support events like this with KidSpeak. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Sophia.
All right. Okay. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to everyone on the listening panel. And thank you, Mayor Bliss, for your leadership and the time you've shared with us this year. One of our partners for KidSpeak is Michigan's Children. Michigan's Children is a statewide organization that advocates for the needs of children. Michigan's Children created KidSpeak and facilitates these forums all around the state. So please welcome Matt Gillard, President and CEO of Michigan's Children, as he gives some remarks.
Thank you, Sophia, and I'll be brief. As I said before, I'm Matt Gillard, the President and CEO of Michigan's Children. We are a nonprofit child policy advocacy organization. Our focus is the pursuit of public policy in the best interest of children and families from cradle to career. In furtherance of that goal, we think it's critically important that policymakers, decision makers, and communities around the state, in Lansing, and even our federal representatives in Washington, D.C., hear directly from young people about the issues that are affecting them in their lives and ideas that they have for change to make their communities a safer place, a better place, and to ultimately make Michigan a better place to be a kid and to raise a family. And so we participate in these events. We help organize and support these events around the state where we put young people directly in front of policymakers and decision makers talking about issues that are important to them. This is one of my favorite events of the year I get to do. I want to thank Shannon and the whole team at Our Community's Children. Certainly thank Mayor Bliss and the City of Grand Rapids for helping to host this event. And thank all of my colleagues here on the listening panel for taking time out of their day for this important event to hear from young people as well. But I especially want to thank those of you that are speaking today and all of the young people that are here for raising your voices, for being a part of this, for being committed to change and to making the world, your community, the state of Michigan, and the world a better place. I have no doubt that our future is a bright one because of your generation and the work that you guys are going to do around this important issue that we're going to focus on today, but many other issues as well. I've got 4 kids of my own, and they're very active and engaged in different events like this, and I am constantly and continuously inspired by the next generation that's coming behind those of us that are up here on the listening panel and their commitment to making sure that our communities are safer and that our state and our world is going to be a better place for the generations behind them. So thanks everybody for being here, and I'm looking forward to the conversation here.
Right. Thank you everybody for the introductions. Youth speakers who you will hear from shortly were asked to answer one of the following questions that we, the Mayor Youth Council, have helped develop. 1. What safety efforts and initiatives do you believe are working in our schools, in our school systems, and which one do you believe are not working? 2. Do you believe that more mental health programs are needed in our schools, and why? 3. What should be the #1 priority considering making Grand Rapids a safer place to live and visit? 4. Envision a safer future for Grand Rapids. What does it look like? Describe what makes it a safe and positive effect and what that effect will have on its citizens. 5. What can local authorities do to better address violence in our neighborhoods and bring communities together? 6. How has social media helped shape our views on safe environments, and do you believe that social media applications can play a positive role in promoting schools or making communities safer? 7. Do you believe that school environments are safe zones for LGBTQ+ scholars? And 8. What does your family, peer, or mentors do to make you feel safe in schools or any community at large?
All right, and without further ado, we would like to welcome our first speaker, Kashari Atterbury, in 11th grade at Innovation Central High School.
Hello everyone. Unfortunately, Kashari could not be here with us today, so I'll be speaking for her. Hello everybody, my name is Kashari Atterbury and I'm a junior at Innovation Central High School. My topic is, do you believe that more mental health programs are needed in our schools? If so, why? I believe there need to be more mental health programs in Grand Rapids public schools. Mental health refers to more than the absence of mental illness. Mental health is the state of well-being that enables a person to cope with the stress in their lives and realize their abilities to learn and work well. Mental health matters. Mental health issues can cause students to be easily distracted, have a lot of absences, and also become unmotivated. This causes students to fall behind in schools. School is one reason why students have mental health issues and they get overwhelmed by work. Also, students have lots of things going on outside of schools which teachers do not put into consideration when planning or issuing assignments. There needs to be change. We can start by making mental health programs more available in schools. And so, in the programs, students will be able to express their feelings and talk to a therapist or a trusted adult on how to control their emotions and work out their problems. We want students to feel safe and comfortable. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Kashari. We would like to invite Alethea Beddinghouse in 10th grade from Innovation Central High School up next.
Hi, my name is Alethea Beddinghouse. I'm a 10th grader at Innovation Central. I chose the third topic on what would make Grand Rapids a safer place to live. I thought one of the priorities in making Grand Rapids a safer place was having a better relationship with the police. I know a lot of kids don't really have a good relationship with the police because of obvious reasons, but that goes for most cities in general. I can't remember a time in my neighborhood when I felt safer than when we had a community police officer. He made my understanding of the police at a young age a lot better than what I feel most children had available or access to. Having kind people who are there to actually get to know you and protect you means a lot. Sorry. I know Grand Rapids recently had a big, well, kind of recent, it was within the last year with the murder of Patrick Loyola. I think that if we had more community outreach from the police and involvement in our community with them at a young age, like the cops coming to the schools and stuff more often, I think that it would make minors a lot more comfortable with the police in general. Not only that, I think it'd benefit them because cops don't always want to look like the bad guys. I think they'd enjoy getting to be a part of the community they're in. I think I'm done. I'm done. Have a good day.
You did great. Thank you, Alethea. We would like to invite Sophia Oles, 11th grader at Grand Rapids Union High School, up next.
Hi, I'm Sophia Oles. I'm 11th grader from Union High School, and the prompt that I chose is, do you believe that school environments are safe zones for LGBTQ plus scholars? And I said, school zones aren't always safe for LGBTQ plus scholars. Many of our kids feel like they don't belong or they get treated differently. Our scholars are afraid of how other schools or how kids at schools will perceive them for being transgender or gay. But no matter how anyone identifies, they are still human and they just have feelings just like everybody else does. LGBTQ kids shouldn't be afraid of being judged for who they are at school. We are at school to learn, grow, and change as individuals. Although most of our scholars do not have a safe place to go to or somebody safe to talk to, our schools have the staff to help kids. The kids are scared to get help because they usually don't have very supportive parents. Since teachers are expected to communicate with parents, this can be an issue. Some students use alternative names/pronouns that their parents don't condone or dislike. LGBTQ plus scholars need to feel like they have a place in this world. We should all be getting treated equally and fairly. It's not fair that kids have to try to fit into a place that they feel like they don't belong. We as a community need to help benefit the change and to make schools safer and more welcoming for LGBTQ plus kids. For example, by creating groups or safe places within the school or at lunch. Teachers should also have training on how best to support LGBTQ kids. But here are just two examples. There are so many different ways to change and grow within our school and our community. We just have to be up for that challenge. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to invite Nkechinyeri Okuwasi, a 9th grader at City High Middle School, up next.
Hi, my name is Nkechinyeri Okuwasi. I'm a 9th grader at City. So my question was, envision a safer future for Grand Rapids, and what does it look like? Describe what makes it safe and the positive effect it has on its citizens. Okay, so I say, ideally in life, most people want to live in a city where they feel safe, accepted, and secure. When envisioning a safer future for Grand Rapids, I see a city where everybody, no matter where they are from or what they look like, feels safe to be who they are. A safer future for Grand Rapids wouldn't have parents having to tell their black children how to act in front of police officers so they come out alive and unharmed. A safer Grand Rapids wouldn't have citizens fearing the people who are supposed to protect them just because of their skin color. This would be a place where people genuinely felt comfortable. In the future, this city could be a place where students don't have to avoid certain schools because they know they won't be accepted there because of their sexuality, race, looks, etc. This city could be a place where students don't have to plan where they would hide during an active shooter emergency. Hopefully one day, people won't have to worry about where they fit in or how they stick out. One day, citizens won't have to live on the edge because of all the dangerous things in this world. Although this may not be something we see for a while, it will hopefully happen. This city could one day just simply be safe for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to invite Stephanie Cruz, an 11th grader at Grand Rapids Union High School, up next.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Cruz and I am an 11th grader at Union High School. My question today was, do you believe that more mental health programs are more needed in our school and why? A large percent of us students from 13 to 17 feel the stress of producing good grades and test scores every day. I am one of those students. At the beginning of junior year, I had the goal of maintaining a 4.0 and a high SAT score in order to get into my college of choice, U of M. In order to do this, I blocked every distractions and started ignoring people around me. As school went on and the stress was added, I could feel myself burning out, which took a toll on my mental health. I began to feel like I could never get a high enough grade, like no matter how long I studied, it was never enough. This led to a lot of anxiety and stress. As the SATs got closer, I even took time off of work in order to study more. I tried to convince myself that I was pushing myself in school for my own gain, but it wasn't. It was for the numbers. The high score took more priority than my mental health. This, unfortunately, is the same reality for many students face today. This is a problem that needs to be faced. One of the solutions to combat this problem is making these students more aware. Making students more aware of the mental health that is out there and that can make a huge difference. But however, the best way is to bring those programs to them. If schools had more mental health resources, the number of teens and kids with stories like mine would be greatly reduced. Throughout high school, students are just figuring themselves out and becoming self-aware and dealing with problems they have never experienced before. Having more support systems throughout the place, spend more time of the day, letting them know they are not alone. And making it easier to ask for help will lead the future students to better days and better mental health. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. I'd like to invite Elijah Taylor, a 12th grader at Grand Rapids Public Museum High School, up next.
Hi, I am Elijah Taylor, a 12th grader at Grand Rapids Museum High School, and I am the grandson of a great man. Some of you may know him because most of you have worked alongside him, and that man's name is Joe Jones. And I can remember watching these city commissioner meetings and all the things that you held in this very room, all with the purpose to hear the voices and opinions and feelings of the citizens all of you guys pledged to serve. But sadly, all I can remember is just a whole bunch of people that I don't know yelling at my grandfather, telling him how he isn't doing enough, when all I can remember is him giving his all to this job every morning. So I'm not here today to yell at you guys or tell you guys you're not doing enough, because honestly, I know how all your family members feel when they watch this online afterwards. But what I am here to do is to embolden you and to push all of you to do more. Because I stand here today, not just as an 18-year-old African American, but as a 18-year-old dream chaser, goal chaser, as an 18-year-old who is here today as the definition of don't judge a book by its cover. I stand here today as a boy who is optimistic for the future. because I know just how powerful mental health programs can be. So when I was asked, do I believe that more mental health programs are needed in our schools and why? I said yes. I strongly believe that more mental health programs are needed in our schools because of the reason that there is 3.2% of kids diagnosed with depression. That is about 1.9 million people. That number is not counting the kids who are scared to speak up, have too much pride to speak up because of the cultures they are in, because of the skin tones they may have, because of the religions they may carry. That number does not count the kids who live in an environment that doesn't permit them the chance, nor the opportunity, nor the freedom to speak up. So, I want you all to take a moment and think. Every single morning, a child takes a step out of the gateway of safety, love, and security they call home into a world left to them by the previous generation filled with gun violence, climate change, racism, and a horrible healthcare system, just to set out on a journey to the only other place that they can feel safe other than their home, called school. School is the place where we learn and gain the skills to go into the real world and to be successful members of the workforce. If we kids aren't able or nor given the tools to understand our emotions and then we won't be able to help the world and make a better world because we won't be able to help ourselves. These kids who aren't able to help ourselves will be leading us or leading our future generations into a world filled with more death, more chaos, more division, more inequality, more pain, more suicide, more climate change, more racism, more sadness that they were never given the tools to deal with. So I urge all you baby boomers and all you silent generation and all you millennials and all you leaders in Gen X, give the future leaders and change makers of Gen Z and Gen Alpha and all the future generations to come the tools, the knowledge, and the programs in our school to lead this world into a better future than the present one we were born into. Because it all starts with you. So I hope today I was able to mold your minds to believe that your goals for this city can never be too high nor too big, because you all must remember that if you are able to shoot for the moon and work as hard as you can and you still end up missing, you will still all of you be amongst the stars. Steve Harvey. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you very much, Elijah. I would like to invite Rima Patel, a 9th grader at Grand Rapids Union High School, up next.
Hi, I'm Rima Patel from Union High School in 10th grade. I'm speaking about what we can achieve in our community to make it better. When you think about achieving, you may believe it is about passing, having good grades, passing school, getting your dream job. But don't get me wrong, it's all that. But it's way more than what you think. Achieving is being successful and reaching our goal and feeling good about it. Achieving can be a simple goal you think that you need, and even if it isn't hard, it is or isn't hard for others, once you pass it, you feel good and you feel terrific about yourself. Achieving is being successful is about how you feel. Achieving is the amount of effort you put into it, and at the end, you know it's all worth it. For us, you guys can do that and start a change. Achieving is a way that you feel, and at the point where you don't care what others think, but you just care about what makes you happy and what's going to make a good change for the future. So you may think, what is achievement? or what can we do to make our community better? One way is focusing on our people and the environment. Keeping our environment clean and reducing pollution will help the environment become better, and also can reduce health problems for our people. So we can make a better environment for all of us and our future generations. Another thing is to focus on safety procedures for any emergency. Things can happen and you don't know when they can happen. But if we have the right procedures and everything works out good, then we can be safe. Safety is one thing that we need to focus on, especially for kids at school. We want kids to make sure that they are safe and feel comfortable coming to school. As Aiduan, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, said, at the end, someone or something will always give up. Either you give up and quit, or the obstacles or failures give up and make a way for your success to come through. Achievement can help us accomplish all these changes that we want to make. Great things to help make our communities better and safer. Thank you.
Thank you, Rima. I would like to invite Ashanti Arikio, a 12th grader at Grand Rapids Union High School, up next.
Hello, my name is Ashanti Arikio. I currently attend Union High School. I'm in the 12th grade and I will be graduating this May. I was nominated for the Grand Rapids Lion Cup for Most Achieved Student academically and athletically, May Honor Roll, and I'm currently Student of the Month. Thank you. I am writing to you to express my feelings about how we can make Grand Rapids a safer place. I believe in order to make Grand Rapids a safer place, Grand Rapids Public High School should have deemed transportation instead of taking the rapid. I do not believe it is safe for our students to go downtown to the transit. Over the years, I have witnessed countless fights, police drawing their guns, stolen cars driven in the parking lot, and etc. I've seen the community get affected in negative ways by the actions our students make when they make these poor decisions. And I believe they're making these choices due to lack of supervision that the transfer offers. If Grand Rapids Public School could go back to the traditional deemed transportation buses, a lot of these situations would be avoided for our students here. And I believe this would make our community a safer place. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ashanti. All right, now it's Marshawn Townsend, 11th grade, Ottawa Hills High School.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Marshawn Townsend. I'm an 11th grader at Ottawa Hills. My question was, what can local authorities do better to address violence in our neighborhoods and make communities and bring communities together? All right, I want y'all to picture this, right? So imagine you were in high school, right? You come to school, you look for one of your friends. They aren't in your first hour. You don't see them at lunch. You don't see them at practice after school. You can't find them anywhere, so you ask around, and then you hear that they passed over the weekend because they were shot. How would you feel? What would you do? This is what high school is like for me and hundreds of other GRPS students. I can tell you the answers to these questions. I'm tired and I'm frustrated about this issue that we shouldn't have to discuss in high school, but it's a part of our everyday lives. Local authorities need to be more involved in our communities. Too many people jump at the sight of police and they hear silence and they hear sirens and get anxious when they see red and blue lights. They feel the need to hide when they see the police around. Police need to connect more with the community and build relationships, especially with the youth in schools. It often feels like authorities don't truly invest in our community. A lot of young people are arrested in Grand Rapids, but no one tries to rehabilitate them or prevent this in the first place. I feel like it would be powerful to develop a mentoring program with the youth in these situations. Locking them up won't solve their problems. If you've had someone to show them what they could be doing instead of like what they're doing now, youth incarceration rates will go down for a lot of young people, especially young men. They are influenced by the adults they are around. I'm part of an organization called New City Kids that employs teens and offers leadership opportunities for teens. I feel like we need more organizations like this so teens can make better choices and have better opportunities. A lot of teens are looking for ways to express themselves and seek attention, and often the only way they see this happening is through violence. A lot of teens are raised in an environment where they feel like they can't talk about things at home, or if they do, they get popped in the mouth. They express their frustration by taking it out on the world and on others. They make mistakes, and they end up being labeled as crooks, convicts, or just being plain stupid. We don't have much time on this earth to live out our lives, but nobody should be limited to only 16 years of life and be killed because of senseless violence happening in our streets. I'm tired of waking up and hearing that a classmate or peer was shot, or coming to school and hearing that they was locked up. They take a lot of these kids out of schools and put them into systems that damages their lives and their futures for the rest of their lives. Instead of locking kids up, I want to see adults in our community mentoring them and showing them that there's more than life in the streets. Oh, I slipped. I fell on the paper. I was able to make a different choice than some of my peers because I had a place where I can express myself. I had a place where it was okay to talk about stuff, and I didn't have to choose violence. We need to help build up our schools and educational programs so that true learning can take place. I would love to see the police lead after-school programs that help and create stronger relationships with our youth.
Thank you, Marshawn. Next up is Alani Harris, 11th grade, Grand Rapids Union High School.
Alani was unable to make it today, so I will be speaking in her stead. Do you believe that mental health programs are needed in our schools, and why? Number 1, yes. Number 2, parenting. Number 3, the importance of genuine relationships. 4, the bigger importance of seeing someone as more than just a number and expressing that, for example, more students need a mental health support person to count on outside of school. 5, the importance of God in mental health. Gives you someone to count on in hard times, gives you a sense of reassurance. God will shape you and protect you and make you better, and evidence of this is that God will send you help in those when you least expect it. 6, mental health is a spiritual problem that affects you beyond your own understanding. 7, also the importance of therapy within teens and the ways that we can provide it to teens for free. 8, when broken-hearted people, I can't read this, I'm sorry. 9, and someone who holds teens accountable is a thing I noticed that throughout life is what we tend to make the worst decisions when we are at our lowest mental state and our most vulnerable state. 1 in 5 American adults have experienced mental health issues in their lives. 1 in 6 young people experience a major depressive episode. 1 in 20 Americans live with a serious mental health illness such as schizophrenia, bipolar, and other major depressive disorders. One question I have for the audience is the listeners. What can local authorities do to better address violence in our communities and bring our communities together? Thank you.
Thank you, Alani. Next up is Marisol Gutierrez, 10th grade, Grand Rapids Union High School.
Hi, I'm Marisol Gutierrez, and I am a 10th grader at Union High School. I want to share a personal experience that happened to me on a topic that I think is important, as well as with my peers. I just had one of the most stressful days at school. I come up to one of my teachers, and I said, I had a bad day. Can I please take a break in another room? They said no, and continued doing my work. Keep in mind, I had tears rolling down my face when I asked them. And I felt that lump in my throat. And in that moment, it made me think, do schools not care about our mental health? In my opinion, I think we should have more mental health programs. Mental health is such a big topic that no one ever pays attention to. It is talked about so much outside of school, but yet so little in school. Why is this? Kids as young as 5 years old are being picked on because of how they look or don't have things as other kids do. Most teens don't know who to go to when they're being bullied or just had a bad day and need to relax. Sure, we have school counselors, but sometimes teens don't feel like we can connect with them or feel like we're being ignored by them. What about a teacher? Sure, go ahead, but are they really going to do anything? With the amount of programs we have now, people are less likely to get help. They are hesitant because it's comforting to stay in the same place mentally, and they don't know any difference outside of depression and anxiety. I'm here to say that teens all over the world are struggling with their mental health. We shouldn't end our lives just because there wasn't any adult to listen to us, just because they didn't have their time. Because they didn't, you know what I mean. Please hear me out. Our mental health matters, just like any other person in the world. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Marisol. Next up is Malia Oates, 9th grade, Grand Rapids Montessori High School.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Malia Oates, and I'm a freshman at Grand Rapids Montessori High School. My testimony goes along with, do you believe more mental health programs are needed, and why? Every day, I am one of thousands, even millions of children and teenagers who worry about if they will have to face the barrel of a gun in their classrooms or be caught in a dangerous situation at school. The sad part is that this is a high possibility. The children at Sandy Hook, Uvalde, and even the young adults at MSU were placed in this predicament. In order to stop this, we have to do something about gun safety, and we have to provide proper resources to guide youth away from turning towards guns, or more of our siblings, friends, and children will fall to misguided people. Ever since the Columbine shooting, there have been over hundreds of school shootings since then, and over 349,000 students have been exposed to gun violence. The most disgusting part is that the rates of these shootings are rising. While we should absolutely limit access to guns, we should not limit accesses on resources for help. What we need to do is provide funding for more affordable mental health programs in and outside of school for students and staff. Mental health goes just beyond school shootings. It looks at a bigger issue. Too many of our youth is hurting each other and themselves because they aren't getting the help that they need. While everything isn't black and white, this could be a start to making my generation and those to follow feel safer at school. It has been said that guns don't kill people, angry people with guns kill people.
Thank you, Malia. And next up is DeAndrea Jones, 9th grade, Grand River Prep High School.
Hello, my name is DeAndrea Jones. I'm a freshman at Grand River Prep Preparatory High. And my prompt was, do you believe that school environments are safe zones for LGBTQ plus scholars? I think in some ways yes and in some ways no, because some schools have programs for LGBTQ plus to be themselves and not judged by others based off their preferences. But not all schools have those kind of programs for the LGBTQ plus. 32% are bullied in schools this past year. Study shows that 13.5% of LGBTQ plus students are reported to not be going to school more than heterosexual students because of safety concerns. Also, students who are unsure of their own sexual orientation, there are 26.9% of them being bullied on school property more than cyberbullying. And 15.5% of them are not going to school for the same reasons. 29% of transgenders, 21% of gays and lesbians, 22% of bisexual youth have attempted suicide in the past year of 2020. More of the LGBTQ plus youth have been threatened or injured with a weapon on school property more than heterosexual youth. Ooh. This proves that we need to focus on not just the safety of ourselves, ourselves and other youth, but also LGBTQ plus youth.
Thank you, DeAndrea. Next up is Jalen Calderon, 12th grade, Grand Rapids University Preparatory School.
Jalen was unable to be here today. She is the president of the Mayor's Youth Council, and I will be reading her testimony today. My name is Jalen Calderon. I am a current senior and will graduate from GRPS this May after being here for 6 years. Throughout our year, during the pandemic, sitting in bed on Zoom drained me. I felt the love I had for learning leave my body over the course of that year. If I am being completely honest, I'm still healing from the toll it took on my relationship with school. This is why we need the Grand Rapids public school system to establish a mental health safe room. A safe room would be a helpful resource for students who are having mental health issues. As a student, I have seen a growing need for mental health support in our school community. Over the past school year, I have seen the implementations the Grand Rapids public school system has taken to develop social-emotional learning within the classroom. My teachers have talked about the training courses they are being given throughout the year on how to address mental health within a classroom. This year, we also have a therapist, which is a step in the right direction for schools. I want to first off thank you for prioritizing teacher and student mental health. I would then like to suggest implementing an initiative I started at my school to all GRPS schools in Grand Rapids. A specific area where kids can go to feel protected and supportive when they are going through emotional discomfort is the mental health safe room. This space would have resources for self-care and coping techniques, plush furniture, and a peaceful design. During school hours, students have the option of visiting the safe room on their own or with professional assistance. After a year of online classes, many aspects change, one of them being mental health. We all noticed that some of our friends stopped showing up, or that a vast amount of us were tired all the time. I asked my teacher to speak at their teacher meetings and gave statistics along with evidence that we needed to acknowledge how much mental health matters. Over the course of 4 weeks, I sat with the National Honor Society and pitched ideas and asked for feedback from students in every grade and in after-school programs. Together with a list of things my peers wanted to see and the Honor Society, I pitched my idea of a well-being room to Steelcase, a global corporation. We were able to create a safe space in a classroom dedicated to taking a mental break with plants and posters specifically for the students at my school. Since the start of the 2022 school year, the well-being room has been the most decorated with vibrant colors. It's used for a classroom some periods of the day with classes called life skills. This year, students in that class chose a community project to give back, such as hosting a food drive, or one of my friends created an accessible QR code to advocate for sex trafficking awareness. I remember my friend telling me how purposeful it felt to have a class that was focused on the community beyond the school bubble. A well-being room will motivate students to go do homework there, explore different forms of arts, and use them as stress relief. According to a research study in Georgia, students using stress balls in class help their attention span to classwork. There are small ways to implement the well-being room that will leave lasting impacts on GRPS scholars and their future endeavors. The color green is associated with relaxing the brain. Going outside or being under the influence of plants can increase memory retention up to 20%, a recent University of Michigan study showed. This room would benefit thousands of students currently attending and future generations of Michigan scholars. This would be a safe space many students could find comfort in when problems arise at home, to find a rejuvenating energy during exams, a place to smile and show that we care about students' physical, academic, and mental health. Gathering students in school to talk about what is affecting their minds is essential to build the school environment, since each school is unique in its own way. Mental health cannot be addressed as a simple solution because everyone is so different, but a room built on the foundation of unity in addressing mental health will make a bold, beautiful, diverse community if you take that step. Thank you for your consideration. Please contact me with any questions or updates. I would love to work with anyone on this initiative. And then next I would like to invite Marinez Dedgar, a 9th grader at Grand Rapids Union High School, up to speak.
All right, before I let you all in on my thoughts and feelings, I want to let you know everything I said and every opinion on this paper are my own. I'm taking my MC hat off, and today I'm talking to you guys as a speaker. Safety always has been, always will be, and always should be the #1 priority for all human beings on this planet. Healthy, happy, and alive. Yet for the hundreds of thousands that live in Grand Rapids, that's unfortunately not the case yet. The systems, policies, and approach that we have in place in the city are outdated, inaccurate, and simply just not functioning as planned. Times have changed, and whether it's school, communities, or public places, the amount of altercations happening on a daily basis in this city is mind-blowing and astronomical. It's frankly upsetting. I think I can speak for most people when I say the lack of action is disappointing. The transit, the city's main spot for public transportation, has violent fights at least once an hour. There are cops there trying to defuse the situation 24/7. The gun violence in the neighborhoods, people shooting, getting shot every single day is unacceptable. I understand we have a big population. We're the second largest in Michigan. But there has to be some type of plan. People are frustrated, but that's not an excuse to engage in violence. In order to make Grand Rapids safe again, we need new voices and engagement from everyone. That includes citizens. Teamwork makes the dream work. Thank you. Sorry, guys. Next up is Zion Jackson, 10th grade, Grand Rapids Union High School.
Hi, my name is Zion Jackson. My prompt was, do you believe that mental health programs are important and why? Many people I know are in dangerous situations and it's a part of their lives every day. It becomes a part of mine as my heart pours outwards to them. The circumstances I have learned about are very common to hear among many others, specifically at school. As who we are known to be in society, students, children, and young adults, the early times in our lives could start with worry, a beginning of emotional suffering for the people we care for. It could become hard to be a part of their main support system because that's all what seems to be what they have. It isn't always. However, students avoid teachers, consultants, and health assistants for this reason. We're scared, afraid to be misheard, and to be ignored with an opposite attitude our peers around us have, who share our pain, story, and lifts us up. This is to say everyone has their own story, and each and every one should be heard, with a solution or not. I experienced this before with my friends throughout my time spent in school. My identity began to change from the person I am to the support we need from adults in our lives who can be more effective to help us emotionally and mentally. We need more people for this role in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Zion. Next up is Colin Helak, 12th grade, Grand Rapids Public Museum High School. You got this.
Hello everyone, my name is Colin Helak. I am a senior at the Grand Rapids Public Museum High School. I am a proud Westside resident, and my prompt was, is there a way that Grand Rapids Public Schools can become safer? In my opinion, the best way to make GRPS safer is very simple. The solution in my mind is more mental health services. More therapists, more counselors, less police, less SROs, and less academic defunding. It is a very complicated task. Thankfully, we have data to back this up. I quote the National Association of School Psychologists. Research demonstrates that students who receive social, emotional, and mental and behavioral health support achieve better academically. School climate, classroom behavior, engagement in learning, and students' use of connectedness and well-being improved as well. You'd think that after catastrophe, we'd finally face the choir. We'd recognize that the seeds of tragedy are often sown at home in dysfunctional and neglectful households. You'd think that we could finally pull up the roots of tragedy at school before they blossom into a dead leaf tree. Speaking as someone who has dealt with mental health issues, anger issues, and was recently diagnosed with ADHD, I was lucky. I was lucky to have a support system at home that I could rely on to support me in those moments. Many people aren't. They are often forced to rely on themselves and themselves alone if they want anything. They don't know anything else, and their goal in life is simply to survive. The system is unequipped in many ways to help those people before they deal with these problems and after they're forced to face them. While the system is very much against change, it sits and annoys everyone every day with how inadequate its resources are to deal with these problems. Here before us, we have a golden opportunity to work within the system to change lives for the better. There is no better location to lessen the mental health crises that many students, myself included, face every day than in school. One more counselor is a dozen less school shootings. One more counselor is one less suicide. One more counselor is one less troubled teen and one more functioning adult. One less police officer traded for one counselor is however many students not thrown into the school-to-prison pipeline. It won't be cheap, and it sure won't be easy. But if we sit back and let the one, possibly only opportunity we have to set the scholars of tomorrow up for success, history will look at our inaction as cowardly and our enabling of tragedy as compliance. Now that I've spoken on the mental health crisis, I would like to make a few words on the gun violence crisis. As I stated previously, I have battled mental health quite extensively throughout my life. However, in my statements about the mental health crisis and school shootings, I do not mean to frame them as mental health crises alone. The gun violence epidemic in America is a gun violence problem and a gun violence alone, not a people violence problem, and as much as the American mental health crises and gun violence epidemic rage on, often intertwined in a morbid ballet. To put all agency on school shooters and the committing of their acts and not the tools used is a societal failing. People will always have guns, and guns will always kill people, the same way that people will always drive cars and crash them. It is an unfortunate fact of life. However, we can limit how many people get cars. We have strict common sense qualifications when it comes to earning your privilege to drive. We have restrictions on which kind of impairments bar you from driving. The same should apply to guns. Common sense restrictions, storage and carry regulations, and if need be, outright banning of certain firearms. It worked in Australia, and there's no reason it shouldn't work in America. I quote an article from Vox News. The average firearm suicide rate in Australia in 7 years after the bill declined by 57% compared with the 7 years prior. The average firearm homicide rate went down by 42%. We've seen the data, we have the societal motives, we have the momentum, and more importantly, we have the votes. Why not make it happen? I don't know about you all, but as a student, I'd rather be dismissed home in a bus rather than a body bag. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin. Next up is Ivan Shkuri, 11th grade, Grand Rapids Public Museum High School.
Government officials, GRPS administrators, community partners, and members of the public. My name is Ivan Shuri. I am a resident of Grand Rapids 3rd Ward and a junior at Grand Rapids Public Museum High School. I would like to begin my testimony with a brief scenario. Imagine yourself driving on Division. When you get to the corner of Division and Wealthy, you're sitting in your car, waiting to turn left when a scraggly man in a trench coat comes up to your window and starts knocking on it. You have no idea what this man wants or why he is coming up to your window. Unfortunately, this is a situation many Grand Rapidians find themselves in. Sitting at intersections, being approached by people who are suffering from mental health crises and substance abuse issues. Not only do people in cars feel unsafe, but those individuals approaching cars are unsafe when they are walking in the street. Think about those who use the rapid to get to school or work, who have to deal with individuals harassing them or making them feel unsafe. Why would people want to use public transport if it seems unsafe and unclean? I'm sure that this is a deterrent to many of my fellow Grand Rapidians who might otherwise ride on public transport. Look at our bus stops, which are full of trash and taken up by members of our unhoused community, who during the summer bake under the glass structures which cover these bus stops. Look at our parks where people sleep on benches and in the grass, again deterring people from using these public spaces. All this deters people from using public spaces, public services, and it deters people from shopping downtown, living downtown, even just going downtown. Now, I must acknowledge, Grand Rapids has seen incredible prosperity in the past few years. The population has grown. We've seen economic opportunities. The situation has improved. I remember years ago when I used to see people sleeping under the 131 overpass on Leonard. Today that area is not nearly as unsavory as it was when I was a child. But Grand Rapids and Grand Rapids is a better place than it was a decade ago. But to ensure continued prosperity, we must not become complacent. We can not look at the prosperity and ignore the issues we continue to face. I know that if we can make people feel safer downtown and feel safer while driving or riding buses, our community will be a much better place. We need to do more to protect and help those struggling with their mental health and with substance abuse issues, or even those who are just struggling to make ends meet. I know that solving this issue won't be easy. It will require decisive action on the part of state and local units of government to discourage people from panhandling and to provide help for those in need. It will require support and work by our community partners and wonderful nonprofits. And only through cooperation will we be able to make our community a safer and better place. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ivan. Next up is Julian Wilson, 10th grade, City High Middle School.
Hi, my name is Julian Wilson. I'm in the 10th grade at City High Middle School, and I'm going to be talking about what our schools can do to make our students safer. Drills are incredibly important to ensure safety for students in any situation. Unfortunately, the steps my school takes to prepare students for an active shooter situation does not make me or any of my classmates feel safe. We sit in the classroom with our lights off, doors shut, hoping that if there is someone in the building, they don't try too hard when they get to our classroom. We do not look for exits. We do not attempt to hide. We sit and wait. My classmates don't take it seriously. They play on their phones and talk to their friends. We don't follow precautions because we don't believe we would be protected either way. I sit in my chair and I wonder what I would do if there was a person with a firearm in my school, if they were right outside the door. The current drills that I and many others in Grand Rapids go through do not feel effective for protecting anyone. We need to better prepare our students for any situation and make sure everyone recognizes the real danger that could be present in our building. School shootings are no longer something you see on the news. We no longer think, that can never happen to me. We worry what we're going to do when it does. Thank you.
Thank you, Julian. Next up is Terrell Daniels, 11th grade, Grand Rapids Union High School.
All right. Hello, my name is Terrell Daniels Jr., and I'm from Union High School, and I've come up to talk about school safety concerns involving school security guards. Now, I'm sure that everyone is aware of the increased number of school shootings in our nation, especially what happened recently at Michigan State. In 2020, there were reported 114 school shootings, 250 school shootings reported in 2021, and 300 just reported last year. The fact that from 2020 to 2022, the number has tripled, and it is very concerning, and it's disappointing that the fact that they happen at all. Now, I know that we don't live in a perfect world, but we need to be limiting these occurrences as much as possible, and we can start by enhancing our school security. Now, I'm not bashing our school system's current way of handling safety, but I feel like it could definitely have some improvements. Give me one moment. So I'm about to speak from the heart here. Now, I'm sure, I want you guys to think about this. When an active shooter drill happens, what do? When a code red happens, we turn off the lights, we sit in the corner, we sit in a room dark, waiting. And then what happens next? Nothing. We're just sitting here, waiting and hoping that we aren't a victim. We are hoping that they don't come to our classroom door knocking, busting in. But with that, how are we going to protect ourselves? We can't. We're defenseless. Our security guards, they don't carry any armed weapons, nor our staff. No, I'm not saying that staff should carry weapons because I don't think so. But our security should. Their job is to guard our school. So in a situation like that, if they can't guard our school, who is? No one is. So we need someone, whether it's an officer or a highly trained security guard with the authorization to carry a firearm or use it. I think that's what we need. We need something like this because our world is consistently changing. We can't, maybe 10 years ago, our system currently would have worked, but not anymore. It's outdated. our road is getting more dangerous. As more and more people come into the road, more dangers arise, and we have to find a solution. I'm sure you all may have kids at home, or you may know somebody who have kids. Now, what if a school shooting event happened and their child was affected? How would you feel? You probably would not like that, would you? Now I'm asking, and I don't currently have the power to that. I wish I did, but I don't. But you guys have the power. You guys have the power to inspire change. You can make our schools safer. You can give us hope. Because I know that when kids are in classrooms and there's an active shooter, they probably feel hopeless, miserable, and they're just waiting for help to arrive. But please, I'm begging you, come up with some system on how we can at least either have someone who is armed in these schools, or at least more protection, maybe reinforced doors. Do something, because I don't like waking up and hearing about a school shooting. I know nobody does, or about their deaths. Now I know that I have fellow classmates, and I'm sure they would want the same. We want to live, and we want to keep living. So please, I beg you once again, please take my thoughts into consideration and come up with a system, because if you can't, then we're doomed. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Terrell. Next up is Terrence Koch, 12th grade, Innovation Central High School.
Hello, everybody. My name is Terrence Koch, and today I bring before you an unfortunate topic that you've heard way too much about: student drug use. I am here to represent the students of Grand Rapids Public Schools and all the children of Michigan. Today I bring forth the topic of drug use in schools. The problem we are facing is the continued use and lack of precautions taken to crack down on, let alone prevent, student drug use. I am sick and tired of going into our restrooms or even the hallways, having to encounter somebody not in the right mindset, turning to drugs as a coping mechanism, and they come up to me and ask me, "Hey dude, can I hit your cart?" And I respond with, "I do not do that stuff," and they look at me as if I'm doing something wrong. A lot of people brush it under the rug, but as a teenager, I feel embarrassed to know that somebody will look at me when I give them that response as if I'm doing something wrong. Most, if not all, schools know this, and yet here we are with little to no upcoming solutions, rather a simple announcement that somebody who's walking in the hallways probably won't even hear. Has there ever been a complaint about the continuous use to any administrations? I can promise there have been multiple, and yet here we are, still dealing with this high school crisis. We come here to ask for assistance in tackling this crisis. Instead of readily saying, "Quit," try seeking out what's causing these issues. Because as someone who almost fell into the trap of smoking and vaping, the problem is, a problem is the uneven workload and the constant repeating cycle of learning, being taught the same information that you're probably already aware of, and that's where students get mentally drained and pick up the habit of skipping classes and fall into the cycle of drug use. I'm here today to ask for further help in tackling this crisis before it's too late. Let's break this cycle. Telling one simply to not do drugs won't get us anywhere. That is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Terrence. Next up is Akila Howard, 9th grade, City High Middle School.
Hello. So I chose prompt 2. Are more mental health programs needed in our schools, and why? I do believe we need more mental health programs in our schools. The mental health of our scholars, with the pressure of school and the violent occurrences at school and the emotions that brings. Schools do have counselors, but that doesn't necessarily mean the students feel comfortable enough to speak on what they may be going through. Some teens still don't have the understanding of their own mental health. I feel like everyone in schools should have a chance or should talk to a mental health counselor, if anything, just to get something off their chest. We want students to feel comfortable to express themselves. As being part of the younger generation, we're becoming each other's counselors. We have a better understanding of each other's problems and emotions. I get that, but we're still young ourselves. We're going through things and have problems of our own, and we don't know how to sort out while having to worry about our safety at school or while walking down the street. This doesn't make growing up any easier. In a way, it feels like you're bearing a burden. We don't have complete control over our lives, and we can't choose what we should or what should happen in our lives and the people we have in them. I feel like we shouldn't have to do this alone. This is a poem. To ask what's good was to move right away to joy. It was pushing aside what was inevitable to reach the exceptional, not great or well or wonderful, but simply good. Because good was more than enough, was a precious spark that we sought and harvested of or for one another. By Ocean Vuong in On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. This expresses most of the time when you need someone to talk to or when you're trying to get to that normal of most people, you don't have to be perfect. There should be someone that can help us navigate through our problems and build us up through these issues. The school which we're at most of the time other than home should have an open program for expressing with others because feeling alone hurts, truly. So yes, we need more mental health programs in schools because yes, we're having problems too. We're having good days, bad days, and worse days. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Akila. Can we get another round of applause? Speakers, you did an amazing job. Thank you for sharing your words and your feelings with us. Oh, sorry. All right, switching gears for a moment. High school students who live in the city limits of Grand Rapids, we encourage you to apply for the Mayor's Youth Council. The application is online at ourcommunitieschildren.com. If you will be entering the 9th through 12th grades next school year and want to learn about city government, please apply.
We would like to take a minute to acknowledge our sponsors and thank our partners for this event. Our sponsors are Our Community's Children, Michigan's Children, the City of Grand Rapids Public Schools, Grand Rapids Children's Museum, and we would like to give a special thank you to Buddy's Pizza for providing today's lunch. We would also like to thank all of you listening panelists and all of our youth speakers and ask you to begin to fill out your surveys that you received before the event. Your feedback is invaluable to us and will help us for planning next year's event. Anyone in the audience who is 15 to 24 years old in the room or watching online, if you're looking for a summer job opportunity that also provides professional development, making $13 to $15 an hour, please apply to the Grow 1000 Youth Employment Program. Grow 1000 provides 6 weeks and 120 hours of the on-the-job work experience, paired with fun and unique ways to build your professional networks. Go to grandrapidsmi.gov/grow1000 and apply today. Now please welcome Ms. Shannon L. Harris, Executive Director of Our Community's Children, and Zachary Laraway, Program Coordinator for Our Community's Children, as they give some closing remarks.
All right, thank you. Let's give it up for our MCs this morning. So we had Terrence, who is a graduating senior, getting ready to graduate. We have Mary Inez. So if you are a follower of ours and KidSpeak, you may have seen her before. She participated in our 2018 KidSpeak when we talked about immigration. She was phenomenal. Give it up for her. And then Sophia. So Sophia stepped up to the plate this year and said that she wanted to chair the KidSpeak subcommittee. So she did a phenomenal job. Give it up for Sophia as well. I want to thank the listening panelists for being here this morning, and I challenge you all, as well as the other adults in the room, to carry what was said here into the spaces that you influence. And what you learn here today should not stay in this room. KidSpeak is designed to hear from young people, as many young people as possible, but when we have time, we would like to open the floor up to our listening panelists to hear what you all have to say, and let us know what resonated with you. What did you hear that resonated with you? And I'll start with the mayor first.
Yeah, thank you, Shannon. So first off, I want to say to Terrence, Marinez, and Sophia, what a great job you did today organizing this. So thank you for your leadership. You know, it takes a lot of courage to get up here and to speak, especially to strangers and people that you don't know. So I just want to thank you for finding the courage to share with us today all of your heartfelt and passionate testimony. It's so important that we hear from you. I'm delighted I get to do that every month and get to know you. And I know we've talked about this before, and I think I share this with everyone in the room, that it is infuriating and heartbreaking that you all are living in a season in this country where you have to worry about gun violence, the level of gun violence we're experiencing, and mass shootings and violence in your schools, and how to stay safe. And I know in my time with you, I've talked about how different it is than when I was your age, over 30 years ago. I'm coming up on my 30th class reunion, and you share with me your fears, and they're fears that I never had when I was your age. And it is heartbreaking. It absolutely breaks my heart. And we need to hear that, because we need to join you in figuring out what we can do to make sure that you feel safe, not just in school, but throughout our entire community, in your neighborhoods, in your homes, on our streets. And we need to hear that input from you and that insight, and hear your ideas, so that we can make decisions to make sure that you are able to live your best lives. The level of fear and anxiety and depression, many of you have shared experiences with me, and it just breaks my heart. But it also motivates me to do everything I can while I'm in this position, which isn't for all that much longer. But it motivates me and keeps me energized to work really hard to try to figure out what we can do around this table, and in partnership with everyone in this community who cares so deeply about all of you, figure out what we can do to make our community a better place and a safer place. So thank you so much for sharing your heart with us, sharing your experiences, your insights, and your ideas. I'm just forever grateful for the ability to work with you and to partner with you, but also to sit up here and hear you speak every year during KidSpeak. So thank you. And I think I'll turn and just see if we have additional comments from the listening panel. I think I'll start here with our city manager, Mr. Mark Washington. We'll go around the same circle, and then we'll end with Matt.
Thank you, Mayor, and I echo all your comments. I do want to thank Ms. Harris for her work and working with our community's children, and the executive board for your efforts in planning this day, and to our co-hosts for an outstanding job, and all the speakers. This was informative and impactful to me to hear these issues around safety, around mobility, around mental health and inclusion, but spoken from your voice, your lived experience, and how these issues, as the mayor said, does not just remain in the classroom, but they follow you back to the neighborhood as you either experience the transit systems or even in your own communities. And I think what it impressed upon me is the need to continue to look at the way that we address these issues holistically but inclusively, to make sure that all of our community feel safe, including our youth, which I looked at the census data this morning. A quarter of our population is under the age of 18. And oftentimes we're designing solutions around them or around you, and not with you. And so this is very helpful, and I look forward to continue to build upon what we've heard today, so that what we've learned does not stay in this room.
Thanks, Manager. Dr. Lovelady Mitchell.
Thank you, Mayor Bliss. I am living in the tension of sometimes you should just not say anything because somebody has said it so well. And if there were symbolic mics for the 23 scholars, I think it is, so each person who spoke, you dropped the mic each time on hard issues. And what's resonating with me is your vulnerability, your clarity, your brilliance, and perhaps most importantly, your power in terms of speaking the truth to the pain, but it not just being about the pain and frustration, but about the power and the hope of how we can change this. And so I think the thread or the thing that is resonating with me most is continuing to amplify the voice of the individuals who are living in it. You all highlighted the quantitative data in terms of the stats, but also just lifted your stories that were powerful. And so I just thank you for the amplification of your voice, but also for the invitation for collective action. And I'm just so impressed by your courage and brilliance. So thank you.
Out of the mouth of babes, you guys really not only spoke to my heart this morning, but listening to your thoughts around the transportation concerns in our community, the community violence, school violence, of course, and then mental health. Your thoughts and your ideals resonated with me. I will be personally reaching out to some of you to further the conversation as well, because I was listening. I thank you. Oftentimes, at least in my role, we focus so much on the hardware of safety, but we don't focus enough on the hardware. And today, I heard the hardware of what you want and where we need to go, and we need to listen more to you. So I thank you again for the opportunity to listen to you so that we can learn. Thank you.
Yeah, it was truly an honor to be amongst this listening panel and to hear all of your voices today. Being a member of on the younger side of this listening panel, it's really inspiring to see at your stage and at your age the amount of conviction, the amount of sharpness and brightness, the well-spoken nature in which you're able to communicate and eloquently serve and give us a reality, a brief image of your realities. And I feel like that is very important for us and all of the members in leadership and in and around Grand Rapids to recognize that our youth have voices that need to be heard. They speak on not only their own reality, but the reality of them in their own communities. So I thank you and applaud you for your openness and your honestness and some of the brutal honestness that we really need to hear to enact the change that we want to see. I would like to also echo a lot of what I heard on the listening panel, the importance of being proactive rather than being reactive. Oftentimes the initiatives that we see in school are often a response to something, an incident that happened in the past. And I've seen that in many cases, and even in my own school experience. I'm an alumni of Grand River Preparatory High School, as DeAndre as a ninth grader attending there. And even in those instances, about 5 years, 6 years ago, I often see that when we actually engage in these programs and these new activities that may lead us into the right direction, it's often too little, too late. So I would just implore not only the members here, members of the public, to continue to listen to our youth's voices. As should be an example to show that our youth are thinking about the right things. Our youth have ideas and concepts and all these sorts of things that can really improve their own livingness, but also further advance our society. And in any case, in any opportunity that we have to allow them to input into some of the executions of these opportunities, I feel like it's more than necessary to do so. So thank you again for allowing us to be here, and we really appreciate you opening up and continue to do so in any opportunity that you do have, because your voices do need to continue to be heard even beyond today.
I want to reiterate a lot of what has already been said, but to say one more time, you are heard. We are listening. And I don't just mean me with my hat on as the Grand Rapids Children's Museum. Everybody here is listening. I have a lot of my team actually here throughout the crowd so that they can also hear, because we often serve that lower age who are also feeling that. Thank you. It means a lot, and everything that you have said, we will carry that on at the Grand Rapids Children's Museum, and everywhere we go, we will use your words. Please know, too, I want you to know, just because you're at an older age group, we are still here for you. We are looking for people to join our team. Come talk to us, because we would love to have you any of your voices a part of our team. Thank you so much.
it takes a great deal of strength to do what each of you did today. Very admirable. Thank you for what you've done. What you shared was real, and what you shared was very raw. And it will help us to be better and stronger leaders for you in your city. So thank you.
So I agree with most or everything that's been said so far. And, as David just said, it's really difficult to get in front of people and be your true self and make comments that are coming from your heart and deep inside your core. So we really appreciate that, and have no doubt what you have said today will have impact on policy decisions and on programs and services that are in our community. It may not be overnight, so be patient. I can tell you as a government civil servant, those things do take time, but there are opportunities that have more immediate impact. But be patient and don't think that your voices aren't being heard, because they are. Thank you so much.
Like everybody else, I want to say thank you, and thank you for opening up and for being honest and for just being true and explaining, how everybody feels. I too have an 18 and a 21-year-old daughter, so these are things that, of course, as all police officers, most of us are parents, so it's not just that we wear this uniform for for the job, but we understand with the school violence, we understand with the street violence, we understand with parks, we understand we don't want any of this to be occurring. So we train. Unfortunately, we have to proactively train, and we train for all of this. We train for school violence. It's sad that we have to train, but we absolutely train, and we train within the city. We train with GRPS schools to be prepared. Okay, so you have a law enforcement and a school system that is prepared to keep you kids safe, and I hope you know that. And so it's unfortunate that we have to do that, like we said, but we definitely do. Youth programs, we have tons of Grand Rapids Police Department youth programs that I would love to share. There's lots of things for ages all the way from 10 and up, but especially for high schoolers. We would love to get more involved, and we are recruiting, and that was the big thing. We are low in staffing, and so we would love to have more community policing officers within the neighborhoods. We would love to have officers within the schools, but we need people to apply for the police department to want to do this job and to want to see the change that they would like to see. So again, join GRPD. I would love any of you kids that are graduating from high school and looking at a profession that you'd like to enter into to apply at our department. And we also have intern programs for as you enter into college. While you go to college, you're able to work at the Grand Rapids Police Department and earn money during that. And, you learn all sorts of things about the police department and communication skills and all sorts of stuff. So anyway, I just want to thank everybody for being open and honest today, and know that we take our jobs extremely seriously to keep everybody safe in the city of Grand Rapids, and especially youth. So thank you.
All I can say is, wow. The testimonies were authentic and they were real. Our school communities across GRPS are complex, right? And leading them, the adults in them, have to be on our A game. The principals and I discuss all of the things that they need to do daily so that their staff are equipped to teach daily. And really, when we boil it down, we get to that they're safe and inclusive schools, that there's positive relationships between the leader and his staff, the staff and the scholars, the leader and parents of the scholars, the staff and those parents. And then lastly, ambitious instruction. And Terrence got there with why people are numbing out in the bathrooms, right? Because maybe the academics or the cycle of education is a little too status quo and from the last century. And then Stephanie got there too. And so I appreciate the push on ambitious instruction, on us improving our relationships, and first and foremost, that they're safe and inclusive, and that mental health is as valued as academic health. Thank you again.
My encouragement is just that you keep doing this. And my professional experience, I was working in the news world before this. It's been my experience that change doesn't really happen unless you do. That means at events like this, of course, where we're designed to hear from you specifically, but I encourage you to show up at the city commission meetings and show up at the school board meetings. For GRPS scholars, our system is set up that we hear from you first before any other members of the public, because you are the most important customers of what we are doing. So keep doing this, keep hearing your voice. If this was your first time coming and speaking in front of a panel like this where the mayor is present, please don't make it your last. Keep speaking up.
Commissioner? Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all for being here today and for sharing just your individual stories. I think our last speaker said there's good days, there's bad days, and there's worse days. And up here, we've had some really good days and we've had some really worse days. And also you have shared what those have been for you. I think that more than anything, I'm just so impressed and grateful for your vulnerability. It probably took me until after the pandemic to be in a space to tell somebody, like, I don't feel okay, or I'm overwhelmed, or I'm tired. That was not something that was encouraged when I was growing up, and I'm just a little bit younger than the mayor. And so keep on doing that, because I think we need to make that this normal conversation that we can all have. So it's not just in your schools. So when you go to work in environments, when you go to other colleges, when you go to other places, that's going to be the expectation. We won't have to pretend we're okay. So thank you all for not pretending and just really speaking out loud.
I just want to echo my thanks to you all for sharing today, for showcasing, demonstrating your courage, your vulnerability, your knowledge. You all are so informed, so connected, so engaged, and so committed to this community. So thank you for sharing. And thank you for your leadership. One of my leadership philosophies is leaders really move from that space of being problem spotters to being problem solvers. And I heard many of you speak of, we have a lot of issues that we all recognize. I heard you all call out the nuance in those issues, how that impacts you personally, how it impacts your school communities, your at-home communities. But I also heard a lot of you name specific things that we can do in response to those things. So thank you for being so thoughtful, so prepared, and for sharing today. Thank you.
Thank you, and I want to thank you all as well. As I said earlier, we have the pleasure at Michigan's Children of helping to facilitate events and forums like this throughout the state. A couple notable things from me today. One, I think your topic was incredibly timely and certainly relevant. And also, I think the focus on the need for more mental health supports and programs in schools and in your communities is something that we're hearing from young people and from students around the state right now. It's something that I think has certainly been exacerbated by the pandemic and the challenges with that your generation, but your generation in particular experienced through the pandemic. And I think it's important for everyone to hear. I want you to remember two things. One, the folks up here listening work for you. So yes, continue to fight for change. Continue to fight for the change that you want to see happen. You all are going to make that happen. These folks work for you. Do not stop. I agree that this takes a little bit of time, but don't be too patient. Let's see some of this stuff start to happen. There are folks that want to help you, but it's up to you guys to make a lot of this happen.
Thank you. Just a couple of acknowledgments. I want to thank Denavia Moget from Moget Photography. And Travis, who's in the control room. So this is being streamed live on the city's Facebook and YouTube pages. So if you want to watch this again, you can find it there. And eventually you'll find it on our community's children's website as well. Thank you to Serena, who was taking photographs as well. It's in the back. I want to acknowledge my staff. Bianca Masafiade, who unfortunately isn't here today, but Gina Peters, who's our T2C studio coordinator, is she in the room? She just stepped out. For those that are interested in going to and getting through college, we do have an initiative called To College Through College, and we have a T2C studio on the 3rd floor of the Grand Rapids Public Library. Gina Peters is the coordinator, so please go see her. And I also want to acknowledge Zachary Laraway. He is my program coordinator. He's been with me for almost a year. year, and this is his first KidSpeak that he has planned to facilitate. He did a great job, right? Again, thank you for being here, and I'm going to pass the mic to Mr. Z.
All right. Good morning, good late morning, everybody. We're just about to wrap it up, so I'll bring us home. We got a few minutes here. And I just want to say thank you all again for attending this morning's KidSpeak. We really appreciate your participation, and we appreciate those in attendance. Again, for those who don't know me, my name is Zachary Laraway, and I'm the proud program coordinator for our community's children and the city of Grand Rapids. In addition to my role with the city of Grand Rapids, I'm also a student at Western Michigan University, getting my master's in youth and community development, as well as a graduate teaching assistant within Western at Western as well. I'm also a proud resident of our city's 2nd Ward in the Fulton Heights neighborhood. And I'm also a former GRPS employee and administrator. It is truly my honor to be in this room with all of you today. I'd like to thank our leaders from across the state and those here locally in Grand Rapids for your attendance. Your continued support for our youth and the issues that they face head-on does not go unnoticed and is felt just by your presence here in this room today. I'd also like to thank those in our audience today. As many of you here are youth advocates yourselves, and you can share in the resolve of our youth speakers and the things that they are so passionate about. Lastly, I'd like to thank our Mayor's Youth Council. To those in the audience at our Mayor's Youth Council, can you please stand up and be acknowledged today? Thank you. Thank you very much. I have the pleasure of sharing space with these fine young leaders throughout a portion of their high school careers. These youth members of the Mayor's Youth Council dedicate themselves to our monthly and lately sometimes weekly meetings, outreach events, and community service projects throughout the academic year. Many of them play sports, participate in choir and theater, and volunteer elsewhere outside of school, all while maintaining a high academic focus, right? Okay. Yeah, okay, fantastic. There's no doubt that they and many of the other youth in this room will be our future leaders within the city of Grand Rapids and then other cities across the state, this nation, and even abroad. To our Mayor's Youth Council, you are truly one of the reasons I can't wait to get to work in the morning, and you are also one of the reasons why I'm so tired when I go home at night. You are the reason why hearing you speak your authentic realities gives me pride, and hearing your struggles is the reason it demands me to lend an ear or a shoulder to lean on. But simply put, you're the reason why spending time with you is one of the best parts of my job. After all is said today, it is truly my desire that these words do not fall on deaf ears, but instead that they are collected as one youth voice to unite us all to create safer schools, communities, and households. The worst action we can take is no action at all. So I challenge those in this room to stand up against violence, racism, discrimination, bullying, intimidation, and indifference. So these words that are spoken today by our youth are not just words. They are a call to action to create a safer world for all of us. So I would ask you today, tomorrow, a year from now, a decade from now, what are you doing to answer this call? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Z. Thank you, Mrs. Shannon. And thank you to the listening panel. And thank you all for joining us. This concludes today's event. We want to invite you all to lunch. We have lunch catered by Buddy's Pizza. Take the elevators to level 1, which is the Calder Plaza level. You have the option of eating inside or outside, depending on the weather. Thank you again for coming to KidSpeak 2023, and we hope to see you next year.